Guys, it's Kerry and I'm back with some updates on my gardening journey. So if you've seen some of the other videos, you'll know that I am starting to log everything that I do related to my gardening, growing my own fruits and vegetables and cut flowers. So I just thought I'd give you some updates on how things are going. And this week I actually have turned my conservatory, which has been, I've had this conservatory for about 2 years now. It's a small conservatory attached to my shop in Seaton in Devon, and I originally had it built. I live above the shop, so we live above the shop, and then we've got the shop at the front, and then at the back, next to the courtyard garden, we've got this small conservatory that I have built. So I originally had it built for an art space, so I was going to do my art in here. Then I've created a new space for that in the front of the shop. So if you want to find out about that, then you can search for my name, Kerry Ann Briggs, on YouTube, and you'll see all my art related things. So I've moved all of my art stuff into the shop, so I can do all of that when I'm at work. And then I've got my gardening for me, so I can grow all my seedlings and things like that. Obviously I am selling the seedlings through the shop, a bit like if I was to have a small holding, then I would have like a little table out the front of the small holding to sell seedlings and bits and pieces. I am selling the seedlings that I don't need for my own use at the front of my shop, so I'm sort of doing that sort of way of working. So I'm just moving off the screen because updates on my phone. So yeah, I essentially have turned my conservatory into a greenhouse. So I'm going to show you around in a minute at what I've done so far. I've taken everything out that was shop and art related, and in the space now it's quite empty because I've only recently done this a couple of days ago. It's still got the side where I already was growing on some IKEA units, so I'll put a link in the description of where I've sourced these units from. Now they were only £10 a unit, which I think is absolutely fantastic, because I was looking at all different options for storing, so like this grey unit here, I was looking at all different options of how to store the trays for the seedlings in this space. And some of the units I was looking at were like £40+ for the same sort of thing, but just sort of wire racking rather than the silver racking. So I found these in IKEA. The ones like the one you can see over here, those ones are £10, and I'm pretty sure the other one that I've just got one on my most recent trip, which is thinner and taller, was also the same price, I'm pretty sure. But I've been really pleased with these. They've been out here in the conservatory for at least a year, 2 of them, and then I bought 2 more this year, because I had in my head that I was probably going to turn the conservatory into a greenhouse this year. Because the garden and courtyard is so small, I obviously don't have room for a traditional greenhouse here. I have got a small one of those at the allotment you would have seen if you've seen the other videos, but obviously there's not space here in the courtyard. So this room gets really nice and warm. I've actually got a thermometer now so I can gauge the temperatures, although I'm pretty sure I've bought a dodgy thermometer. I should have gone for a digital one because it doesn't seem to move much. I need to come down here first thing in the morning when it's cooler and see if it does change. But yeah, so I thought I'd show you around how I'm going to use this space essentially as a great big greenhouse, because it stays like, I can open the windows if I want to, but if I keep it all closed and I keep the door to the shop closed and the door to the outside closed, it's really lovely and warm. It's actually somewhere I come whenever I feel cold in the house, because the house does stay pretty cool, or the shop. I come in here and it's nice to warm up, but it's perfect for seedlings and perfect for the plants that like it warmer. So this year I'm going to trial it as a sort of greenhouse space and see how it goes. So I'll stop yabbering on. Probably boring looking at it. You can see some of the plants actually in the garden, in the courtyard, doing really well. The foxglove up here, my bleeding heart one down here. My new planter, let's see if I can, the new planters that I built. You can read about how I built those on my blog. So my blog is tomatoesandtulips.co.uk. You'll be able to see all sorts of like the method of how I built those, all with reusable scrappy pieces of wood that I just had a go at building with, and was really pleased with the planters I could create with those. So let's see if I can pause this, flip the camera and show you around. So you will have to excuse the mess. I have only just started changing this up into a usable sort of greenhouse space. So as you can see, if you watched the previous videos, there was a lot of artwork in here. There's only now one picture, one of my favourite pictures. I'm just going to leave it in here for me. And then I have got the seedlings. Most of them are in the same sort of positions as you would have seen if you've watched previous videos. So these, nothing has come up at all yet. The sunflowers, I've already taken some of those to the allotment, the ones that grew the biggest so far. The rest of them are slowly on the way up. Now this is a complete and utter fail. I don't know what happened here, but so far I can see one cucumber and the rest of what I'm guessing is foxgloves. I don't know how that happened, considering it was a packet of cucumber seeds from Lidl, and they all look like cucumber seeds, so it must be some sort of contaminant in the compost. But they do look like foxgloves, and I love foxgloves, so I'm going to keep those going and see what happens. A couple of those sunflowers left there, and the rest have already gone up to the allotment. And up here, I can't actually see what's up there without looking at the camera, and I can't see the camera, so I can't update you on what's up there. But I'm sure you can see as I stretch the camera up. Then down here we've got some more sunflowers, again, different variety. A couple of cucumbers that are actually slowly coming up here, so that's good news, because I was worried I was going to end up with no cucumber plants this year. And then we've got some viola, which I need to pot on. Again, varied success on those, not very successful on some of those. These ones are only recently been sown, so these will be hopefully hollyhock and some perennial sweet pea. And then at the bottom, I have got some of the broccoli early purple that I have now separated out, because obviously in the previous video you may have seen that they were all clumped together, so I've now separated those out. These were only sown the other day, microgreens and lemon balm. Because I've got so much space, so much more space now for sowing seeds, I've got room to grow pretty much anything and everything. And these units here used to obviously be for pitchers. So they're quite limited on the depth that I can use for pots. So I found these little glass jars, which are perfect for catching the drips when I'm watering. But the great thing is it means that they were free, because I was just recycling old glass jars rather than having to buy the little plant base ones, the saucers. So that's good. So coming up here, we've got some more tomatoes, a few of the larkspurs coming up, which is really, really good. Then we have got some sweet peas. These are a new variety that I've not grown before, Pink Cupid. Then we've got the watermelon sugar baby. Last year these did really well. This year I can only see one that I think is a seedling, that bigger one there. The rest of them I think again is contaminated compost. Down here, the lettuce is only 3 of those have come up. The other in the far corner, I'm not sure if that's going to turn out to be lettuce or another weed. It might end up being lettuce. Then we've got the carrots just over the far corner there. The courgette in the pots down here, I'm not sure if they're actually going to turn up or not. This is just obviously the seating area that you would have seen before. If we head down here, I've only had one successful marigold, which is a real failure this year. The aubergine only very recently sown, so I'm not too worried about those. Same with the chard, very recently sown those. Then we've got the courgette here. So the little black, these were all sown at the same time. So the little black beauty one is so far looking successful. And these ones here, which I can't remember the brand name, but they came with a nice little label. Same variety, Black Beauty, but different brand. None coming up just yet, so I have to wait and see. The nasturtium, none are coming up on those yet, but funny enough, I have just planted up a rogue nasturtium that I found in a pea plant where I've sown the peas, so we shall see what happens with that. So this is where things have made a big difference. So I've taken, as I say, all of the artwork and everything out, and this now is my whole greenhouse, essentially. That's what I'm using it for. So obviously before I was selling houseplants and things in the shop because people could come out here and they could select the plants and the artwork and things. Now these are just some of the ones that aren't yet on display in the shop. People won't be coming out here now. I'm not going to use this area as part of the shop anymore. I'm solely going to use it for me as a greenhouse because I'll be selling the seedlings out the front of the shop, and then the rest
well, some of them. The rest of them I'll be using for my allotment and for my garden. So I'm only going to sell a few bits and pieces here and there of what is sort of extras that I don't need. So in these, I don't think any of those that you see sprouting are actually what they're supposed to be, because they are also appearing in things like the pea and the mange too. So I'm guessing, again, poor quality compost. So we shall see. No sweet peppers appearing, so we'll have to wait and see what happens there. No echinacea. This one here is the double pink. The double fun pink, I think it's called, is actually one that I bought as a plug plant, and he's coming up quite nicely, so I'm excited to see how he grows. A couple of mange too have already gone to the plot. They were growing nice and big, and a couple of them there looking like they'll be okay. No success at all on the snapdragons. I'm wondering if that might be some success, or if that is going to end up being more poor compost. We shall have to wait and see. And then over here, obviously, we've got some of the house plants, and that leads through obviously into my shop out there. This is my poorly tomato tumber. So I bought 2 of these a week ago from a shop, because I hadn't managed to grow any from seed this year of tumbling ones. Both in exactly the same compost, both in exactly the same spot in the greenhouse right next to each other. One of them is looking healthy. This one is looking like it's probably going to die on me. I shall update you in a couple of weeks to see if I can bring him back, but I'm not sure what's happened. I mean, they feel a little bit like it was needing more water, feel a bit crispy, but then it's been kept nice and moist and the same as the other one, and the other one's doing much better and much healthier. So I'm really not sure what's happened here, but we live and learn. It would be such a shame that I would have wasted $1.29, which I hate doing, on a potted plant, when essentially usually I grow everything from seed. So we shall see. We'll see how that goes. And then over here, I recently bought these galvanized pots, and these are going to be for my cut flowers, praying and hoping this year that actually works. And then a funny seed display. So this is an old spinner from my shop that I no longer needed, and it was in the corner of this conservatory. And rather than move it back into the shop because I don't need it, I thought, you know what, I'm going to use it as a seed display. So essentially what I've done is I've alphabeticalized my seeds, hung them on these clips, and then on the slat wall. This actually twists around, but I've only actually got one thing on there. So you can see like broccoli, beans, carrots, Brussels sprouts, courgettes, and they're all then pinned behind the different varieties of said seeds. It's been great because actually now I can see what I've got and what I haven't got and what I need. I don't know if I'll keep this in here, and I don't know if I'll, it'll be a thing that I keep as a way of organising my seeds, but it's fun for now and it made me laugh, so it's quite good. And the other good thing is I can spin it round so that the seeds don't have to be in direct sunlight. They can just sort of be in the corner there, shadowed off. And this is just, again, empty space at the moment, which I'm sure I will fill with some big plants of tomatoes and anything else I can think of that needs to be kept in the warm. Over here, yesterday I planted celery and some more cabbage greyhound, because you'll see in a minute only 3 of mine survived from the last tray that I sowed. That's some lettuce that I'm hoping will come up, sown yesterday, parsnips sown yesterday, coriander, which I actually hate, but other people like it, so I thought I'd give it a try, and some chives I'm hoping will come up. And there's the rest of my early purple, which did really well from the tray that I've sown. So I think I've got 20 successful seedlings that I've separated out now, so I'm hoping they grow nice and big. I actually had a purple broccoli sprouting for my tea today with my roast, and it was delicious from the allotment from last year's seedlings that I grew. So really successful, lots of purple sprouting on the plant, so I'm really pleased, and I will do a video of that. I've got some pictures over on my blog, tomatoesandtulips.co.uk. You can see the purple sprouting, and it's just delicious. I eat the leaves as well as the broccoli, so it's really yummy. Again, cucumbers, no success so far. What have we got over here? Oh, those cucumbers, there's one coming up there. And then we've got some chrysanthemums, and they look like they are coming up, a few of those. I think there's a rogue tomato in there, but we shall see. I let rogue things grow until I know what they are. Then we've got the lettuce, Then I've got, I think, cornflowers there. My son's sown those for me and put my label on. Again, no sign of the echinacea. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing any of these right, but we'll see. Parsley was only sown yesterday. Carnations, they look like they will come up. Can't remember what's at the back there. We'll have to wait and see. Those are my 3 greyhound cabbages that might survive. Not too sure. But they've been potted on because they were all in the same portion of the seed tray. All the rest failed. Delphinum, which I love. A few of those there. I'm hoping, those were only sown a few days ago, so I'm hoping those come up because I really do love those. And then these are my sweet baby tomatoes. I'm hoping they do well. I thought they were my Yellow Delight ones, but I must have got confused. I can't remember. Anyway, they're either going to be Sweet Baby or Yellow Delight. Those ones are doing really well, so I'm pleased with those. Only one failed one on those. And they're another complete failure. I'm pretty sure that's weeds and that's not what Campulia, I think Finn's written that one. So whatever he's sown in that one didn't work. So yeah, so my new greenhouse, which is actually a conservatory, seems to be working out really well. I'm pleased with it. This doesn't have any electricity out here, so I'm using solar lights which are out in the garden. I will do a proper garden tour later so you can see how things going on in the garden. So I've let one of the kale there go to seed for the bees. The bees seem to love it. And then some of the dahlias and lilies are coming up there, you can see. Lots of the plants at the back are coming up. And that's where I put my tomatoes there under those trays. I'm keeping those covered and so the cats hopefully don't destroy the soil. I can see my foxglove coming up nicely over there. I can see a few of the delphinums coming up there, and the roses are doing really well too. You can see my new 2 rustic planters that I planted up, and there's a raised area for my potting as well, so that's doing well. And yeah, so that's just a sneak peek of the garden. I'll show you an updated tour of the garden probably at the weekend when I get a chance to do some videos in the peace and quiet when the kids are busy doing other things. But it's Wednesday, so homework, tea that's just been done, and I just thought I'd come out and do a quick film for you before the light disappears. In there I've got radishes. That's a rogue weed that's not actually in the soil. It looks like it's just been dropped there. Onions to the side, so onions here, and then rows of radishes along here, which have only just been sown, so we shall see how things go. So I hope you enjoyed looking around my what is now going to be a greenhouse but is actually a conservatory. We shall see how things go. I'll keep you up to date, and thanks for watching, guys. Have a great afternoon. Bye.